Well, 1994 is an important year for television in Queensland. It marks the 35th year since the box became part of our everyday lives. QTQ9 was the first Queensland station to air back in August 1959. And as Tony Biancotti reports, our lives have not been the same since.
For the times they are a-changing.
The times certainly have changed since television first flickered on Queensland screens back on August 16th, 1959.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to...
Hugh Cornish was the first face to introduce this exciting new medium.
You used to rush home to watch your television set, and people physically did that. They stood in the streets in those early days in television, sat on old fruit cases outside the local retail outlet.
Back then, television ran for only 5 or 6 hours a day, and most shows were local and live.
So everything was rather like a first night, because everything was a brand new performance.
My boomerang won't come back.
Your boomerang won't come back?
There was no coaxial cable up the east coast, there was no optic fibres, there was no satellite, there was nothing like that at all. So indeed you had to fill your schedules with programs that were seen to be local.
It's Popeye!
They were fun days, they really were. Everyone was in there, and if they weren't in there, they wanted to be in there. It was great. The atmosphere was magic.
Jim Iliffe was the second local face on television with his very popular children's show, The Channel Niners. He later married his production assistant and first female newsreader, Melody Welsh. Back then, television staff had to be all-rounders.
I would be production assistant on the children's show, rush into the makeup room, be made up and change and have my hair done, read the news, and then once a week I would sing with the Chordettes on Brisbane Tonight.
You talk about multi-skilling, we used to do it way back then, because everybody was part and parcel of that wonderful time of show business up there.
The Bee Gees from Crib Island, who went on to international success, got much of their grounding at QTQ. On-air personalities were treated like movie stars.
I think television then was as close to Hollywood as any industry in this country has ever been.
On the outskirts of Hong Pai.
They were simpler times, less serious, and with a real sense of community on Mount Cootha.
You must remember we were isolated in those days on the top of Mount Cootha, so we were a basic little community living on the top of the hill, so we were all very family orientated, very close.
Do you think these days we take TV for granted?
I think we accept the magic of TV. It's no magic anymore, it's just what happens every day.
Television has changed a lot in 35 years, and with new entertainment rivals such as computers and video games, television must continue to change with the times.
For the times they are a-changing.
Yes, some great images there from the past. And tomorrow we look to the future as Darren Hinch joins us to talk about his plans for the midday show.